Hello world of YouTube and welcome to yet another discography review update. Today I'm updating on my N9ne discography review by reviewing his new Klusterfuk EP, which came out last month, I believe. And if you haven't seen my two-part N9ne discography review, where I review all of his albums in two parts, click the door fedora. It'll take you to part one of that review. And in that part, I cover just a lot of his material. Like I said, I cover all of his material in just two parts. A lot to go through, but I feel like get everything in and all that fun stuff. And since it's only an EP, this review will not take me that long. But I do need to update on his review with this album, or with this EP. So why don't we go ahead and get started? And actually, I want to start by saying that this album was the first to be completely produced by the new hip hop group to his label, Mayday. And I've seen some people saying some negative things about the production. I guess they don't like the beats or the way that he sounds on the beats. But honestly, I think that the beats on this thing are, for the most part, pretty damn good, with the exception of really the song Blur. I don't like the way the beat sounds. I don't like the dubstep-y way that it's done. I think he sounds fine on it, and I think that the member of Mayday that's on the chorus sounds fine, but I don't like the beat itself. It just sounds... he just sounds kind of weird on it. But other than that, I think that the instrumental beats, like the ones that are done with actual instruments, like Ugly Duckling and the title track, sound great. They remind me of the tracks that Mayday did on Welcome to Strangeland. They sound very different for tech, but he sounds pretty good on them. And another thing about the title track that's interesting is that it's somewhat of a new territory for tech to be writing about in the terms of religion. I mean, he's written about religion and mentioned it somewhat in the past, but I mean, he really focuses that on his song, his beliefs, and kind of how he was brought up religiously. And it's an interesting take on religion, the track Klusterfuk, kind of this hybrid of beliefs into this clusterfuck. And I think it's interesting how the track Ugly Duckling takes the one of the lines from Red Nose and expands it to kind of a whole song. This thing kind of feels like an expansion on beliefs he's touched on earlier albums, and really the only other nitpick, and it's not really a major nitpick, it's just a minute thing that kind of bothered me about the EP, was that a few of the songs end in just dialogue. They don't really end in a traditional sense, but I mean, it's not something terrible, it's just something that threw me off, and it still kind of throws me off a little bit. I still think the EP is great. Not my favorite EP he's done. My favorite EP he's done is still probably Seepage, but Klusterfuk is a really good way for him to start this year. It introduces a change sound-wise, even more so from Welcome to Strangeland. It expands on some of the sounds Welcome to Strangeland presented in a really good fashion for the most part, and he sounds great. I love Tech's verses. I think that he's a great spitter, and he does some interesting techniques with his rhymes that he hasn't really done before, and I think it's cool that he can still find ways to innovate his music in certain ways. So I really enjoyed this release for the most part. Aside from the few nitpicks I have, I do recommend you pick it up. It's a really good EP. The last track, DKNY, was kind of interesting. He kind of has this odd kind of mindset behind him. It almost seems like when he's spinning in this about a sexual song. It's a really interesting hodgepodge of music, and I really dig it. I really dug it. It was a true clusterfuck, if you will. That's pretty much all I really have to say about it. I think that the beats are, for the most part, alright, except for the few faults that I've given him. I think that he spits fine. I think that the guests are on it are pretty good. I think Kriz sounds pretty decent on Can't Stand Me. Not his best performance, but not his worst with Tech. Yeah, I dug it. If you like N9ne, I'm sure you'd really dig it too. That's pretty much all I had to say about it. Just a quick little review on the Klusterfuk EP. My favorite track, probably either Can't Stand Me or the title track. I really dug the title track. It was a great, fantastic opening to this release, and I can't wait to see if he takes some of the elements from this and puts them on an album. I'd be intrigued to see, even more so than on Welcome to Strangeland. I'm really intrigued to see what he has to offer for this year, and I'm really stoked. So hopefully you enjoyed this review. Hopefully you enjoyed the EP if you've checked it out. If not, again, I recommend it. The next review I'm going to do, I don't really know, but I don't think it'll be in this. I don't think it'll be in this house. I think that this is my last musical review in this house, because we're pretty much going to be done moving, I think, this week. Ma! What? Do you think we're going to be done moving this week? Either this week or next week. But either way, I won't be filming another discography review or musical review in this house. I might film a couple of movie reviews. I don't really know. But hopefully you guys are enjoying the reviews I've been putting out recently. Hopefully you are still looking forward to the reviews I put out in the future. You guys have good days, lives, and situations. And I will see you another day.